Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rockland School Committee meeting of Monday, September 25th, 2017. First on tonight's agenda is acceptance of minutes, and we will be having two items of minutes that we'll be looking to have approval on, the first of which are the meeting minutes of August 14th, 2017.
Motion to accept. Second.
All those, if I'll need to abstain, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That is a vote. Next up is the approval of the meeting minutes of Monday, September 11th, 2017.
Motion to accept. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. 3 votes and 1 abstention for Melissa. That's a vote. Thank you. Next up, under communications, we have a flyer distribution for the piano mill. Colleen?
Yes, this is a music lesson that goes on every year, and Dr. Cron has recommended approval to distribute to the students.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's a vote. Thank you very much. Next up is the superintendent's report. Ms. Verlisi.
Yes, I just have 2 things. The first one is the first building committee meeting is scheduled for this Thursday evening at the High School Middle School Media Center, which is the library. The doors will open at 5:30. And the Main Street High School entrance is the door to go in. It'll be unlocked at 5:30, and the meeting starts at 6. It's the door by the clock tower.
Right.
And the second thing is just an update on our MSBA progress. The maintenance and capital planning reports are being filed now. Mark Shawm and I have been doing the budgets and the capital planning reports, which are due October 2nd. So we're on schedule with our MSBA reports. And that's it.
Very good. Any questions or comments from the committee?
No.
Thank you very much, Ms. Verlisi.
Okay.
Seeing nothing under audience for this evening, under reports, we have 3 financial reports for approval this evening. One for the school department, one for the high school student activities account, and third for the middle school activities account.
3 months in August.
I'm sorry, yes, for both for July
Oh,
and
yes.
August.
6 months.
Thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Phelps.
6
We have 6 motions.
6 seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That is a vote. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, for your information, are building rentals for the month of August that are enclosed. Love to see our buildings being busy, and hopefully they will continue to be increasingly so.
Are they picking up? The building rentals?
Building rentals, yes, they
Yeah.
will pick up as the year goes on, absolutely.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Lots of basketball. We'll have lots of basketball teams.
Great. Thank you very much. Next on tonight's agenda, under old business, we have organization of our committee for collective bargaining for this upcoming year. And we need to have 6 subcommittees that we will nominate for this evening. The first of which being the Teachers Collective Bargaining Subcommittee, second of which being the Secretaries Collective Bargaining Subcommittee, third, Custodians Collective Bargaining Subcommittee, fourth for our Cafeteria Bargaining Subcommittee. Next would be paraprofessionals, and after that will be the Daycare Bargaining Subcommittee. So first of all, why don't we, ladies and gentlemen, try to talk about the Teachers Collective Bargaining Subcommittee. We'll start out with the nomination for that. Anybody have any thoughts?
I would nominate you.
Okay.
Yeah, I second that.
Okay. And for the second on that, I might suggest to nominate Mr. Mills.
I would so move.
So for now, we will vote to have representatives for the Teachers Collective Bargaining Subcommittee to be myself and Mr. Mills. Do we have a motion for those 2?
So move.
Okay, that's a
Second.
vote for the 2 of us. Thank you. All right, so next up we have Secretaries Collective Bargaining Subcommittee. Any thoughts on that, gentlemen or ladies? I might suggest Mr. Phelps and Mr. Garofalo.
So I make a motion that.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have Mr. Phelps and Mr. Garofalo. Next, for Custodians Collective Bargaining Subcommittee, I would suggest, and open for discussion, myself and Mr. Mills.
Okay.
Motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay.
All right.
I had.
All those in favor of that? Mr.
Aye.
Mills, Mr. Mills. Okay, thank you. Next up, for cafeteria workers, I might suggest Mr. Phelps and Ms. Small.
Motion.
Second.
Sure.
You're in.
I'm in.
Cafeteria.
Okay. Next up, for paraprofessionals, I would suggest Mr. Mills and Mr. Garofalo.
Okay.
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Those are my favorite groups,
Okay.
the paraprofessionals.
Lovely, that's great. And last up, we have the Daycare Collective Bargaining Subcommittee. And for that, I was to suggest Mr. Mills and Ms. Small.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Got
thank you
4.
very much. Did you end up with 4?
Yeah.
Okay, Dick has, I'm sorry.
No, so give
One.
me, I only have one.
Okay, so I'm sorry, so that one should have been,
Yeah.
why don't we do Mr. Phelps and Ms. Small?
Yeah, I motion that.
For
That's a
daycare?
motion.
All
Yeah.
right, second.
Okay.
Yep, the daycare.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of Mr. Phelps and Ms. Small?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Or Dr. Small, I'm sorry, I keep referring to you as Ms.
Dr. Ms., Mrs., it doesn't make a difference.
All right, very good, so I think that's it. We're good on there. Okay.
And the normal process is that we spend time, with the first one we spend time is on the teachers, and then the other ones follow after that.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So just to give it
And I
an
know,
idea.
Colleen, as we talked earlier today, we're looking to get going on that as soon as we can. and-
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very good.
Do you have
Before
any,
the
do you have any
All done.
timelines, the beginning of the year or
I'd like
before
to
that?
start probably November
Yeah.
with the teacher
sure.
contract.
Yep, that'd be good.
Outstanding, the sooner the
Okay.
better.
Yep.
Under new business, we have a request for approval of a grade 8 field trip to Philadelphia, which we have some literature on enclosed. Ms. Verlizzi?
Yes, our famous Philadelphia tour, which is the best field trip, probably, that we have for our students. 8th graders always look forward to this. It's been a phenomenal trip in the past years. And Ms. Bond is here to answer any questions you may have about the trip.
You must be an honorary citizen down there in Philadelphia.
Do that accent if you want.
Right.
But-
She could just go for the Philly Steaks or whatever.
How many years now, Ms. Bond, since we've been doing that?
Will be our 7th,
Yeah.
our first year we went to DC.
2 years,
Yeah.
DC.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
3 years.
and
This
then,
is-
so this is our 8th trip.
Oh, okay.
I'm happy, believe me. Any thought of going back to DC, or was that too much?
It was kind of far away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think easier for the kids to handle Philadelphia.
Gotcha,
as far as
okay.
I'm concerned, and Many of them haven't been there.
Yeah.
But DC is one of the coolest places in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Philly's
Just,
great, too.
just a quick question, are these dates don't interfere with any testing or anything like that?
No, we're right at the end. We're actually.
Yeah, usually it's done by the-
6th or something like that, and
Yeah,
a
4th to,
little
Yeah.
earlier
Yeah.
than usual, but.
Yep.
that's what I thought, yeah, okay.
Now, is the itinerary pretty similar to what you've been doing in the past, or anything different and exciting this year? Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's been very successful and well-received in years past, so that's great.
Motion,
Fantastic.
motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
That's a vote. Thank you very much. Looking forward to hearing about how
Yeah.
fun that was, how fun and educational. Next up for fundraisers, under item B, under new business, we have several fundraisers for approval as well tonight.
One thing, before we get down, I'm sorry, I
Please.
interrupt. I just want people to understand that the Philadelphia trip is paid by the kids. The school department is not sending a bunch of kids to Philadelphia, just so the taxpayer would be aware
The
of
trip
it.
is paid for by the kids, plus the fundraising that I think we have in tonight.
Yeah.
And extremely generous donations
Yep.
by the staff and some local businesses to help some kids who may be having difficulty,
Yep.
but
I
just
just
about all
wanted-
of it.
I just wanted the
Minus
general
minus the
public
fundraising, which can be over $100 if we get it organized.
Great.
Great point, by the way. Well put, I think. Absolutely
Yeah,
fantastic.
there's five fundraising, you know.
For us.
Proposals,
Yeah,
yeah, for the, just for the Philly trip.
Yeah,
It's the ones we've done
Before.
in the past,
Yeah.
yes.
awesome. Great. Any other questions of Ms. Bond about the Philly trip?
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, so next up for approval of fundraisers. We've got them for the daycare at Rockland High School and Rogers Middle School. The daycare has 2 fundraisers that the PAC will be doing. They'll be doing raffle baskets and Yankee candle sales. So first off, I'll entertain 2 motions
Two
for
motions.
2 seconds?
all those in favor. It's a vote, thank you. Next up for Rockland High School, the Guidance Department, Service Learning Club, Travel Club, and Environmental Club, and the National Honor Society as well will be having fundraisers. Guidance will be having a trivia night. Service Learning Trip will be having a yoga night and a Chipotle night. The Travel Club will be selling prize calendars. The Environmental Club will be selling water bottles, and the National Honor Society will be selling wristbands. So for this, we will entertain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 motions.
6 motions.
6 seconds?
All those in favor? That is a vote.
And
Thank
most
you.
of these are the same as the previous years. I
Yeah.
think there's
Yes.
1 or 2 that haven't done.
Yes.
Okay.
Next
Yeah.
up, the aforementioned, as Mr. Mills had mentioned, the Rogers Middle School Philly Trip fundraisers, the 5 of them. Candle raffle for a car wash, Super 8 raffle, free trip raffle, and an LCR tournament. We'll entertain 5 motions for those 5 fundraisers.
5 motions.
5 seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That is a vote. Thank you very, very much. And next on tonight's agenda, we have 2017 Community Education Adult Classes, which, as always, there's always really some great offerings that
Fit
they
over
offer.
50.
Yeah, fit over 50. But
That's
just to
good for you,
kinda-
Dan.
Yeah, and I'm not quite there yet,
Okay.
but I probably need to get
No.
in some sort of shape. Probably look
Chair
like a
yoga,
50.
it looks
Yeah.
like, though.
But just to give you an idea of some of the great things they'll be offering up there, it's going to be the all levels computer skills class. They've got an astrology class, chair yoga, dance workout, English for speakers of other languages, fit over 50, gentle yoga, monks cloth Afghans, new golfer program. I could probably benefit from that. Quilting, Reiki level 1, sewing for the holidays, tarot card reading, wealth and abundance, and Zumba. So some really great stuff.
Plus they got a trip.
Plus, they do have a trip, that's right, to New York City. And their classes will be starting Monday, or they did start Monday, September 25th, 2017.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That is a vote. Thank you. Okay, and under new business, we have some surplus property. Ms. Felici, is there anything on the surplus property that you'd like to highlight? Or?
No, we have nothing in particular. We have some technology equipment that is going, printers, cables, monitors, and TVs, VCRs, DVD players, computer tables, filing cabinets, monitors, and those are all available if anyone wants to
How old are
view
they?
them.
How old are
They're
Variety
old.
of years.
The variety of years, nothing new. Nothing fairly new.
All right, motion to approve.
Are we including the piano in this?
The piano is separate.
Okay, all right.
It's the next page. The
Second,
piano.
second, I'm sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's a vote. Thank you. Now,
This is it.
Ms. Felici, they should just call the high school administration office, or they should call Mr. Wells and
Yes, they can call the business office, and we can have anyone that wants to view the property, view it. And also, if you want the piano is the next page, the Memorial Park piano.
Are we going to replace the piano?
At this point, we haven't talked about replacing it, but we probably will.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
It was and I know that we perhaps don't need the instrument that we purchased for the high school.
Right.
But to have a piano there, I
Yes.
think would be instrumental, particularly where we're trying to stimulate our music program and so
Absolutely.
on.
Instrumental, yeah. Well put, Tom. Absolutely. All right, so lastly, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Motion to approve it.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Lastly, I'd like to hear, as we always do, from our student representative. We have Ms. Macy Jones here with us. Macy, is there any questions you have about tonight's meeting, or do you have any thing that you'd like to tell us about that's happening with the student body, or any upcoming events that you wanted to talk about?
Well, this weekend, RHS is going for the breast cancer awareness walk in Boston.
Mhm.
And so we're taking over 100 students
Oh,
to
wow.
that.
Wow,
Okay.
great.
And so that's awesome. And
Buses,
then,
how do you get in there?
buses.
Great,
And
great.
so we meet here at the school, we take buses into the city, and then we're at the Hat Show in Boston,
Mhm.
is what it's called. And then we bus the kids out too, and then we return here like before 1 in the afternoon.
Awesome.
Have you ever been in there for that walk before?
I have, this will be my 4th year.
Good
Good
for
for
you.
you.
Yeah, that's a cause that's close to my heart, and I've done it quite a few years myself. It's a pretty cool event just to see that many people
It
there,
is, definitely.
and all of them being touched by breast cancer. I know most people have been in one way or another.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for all of you. That's great.
Yeah. Do you need
And then-
sponsors? Are you still looking for sponsors?
If you're willing to make a donation, we'll certainly take it.
Let,
For the-
let everyone out there, the
Who would they
10
contact?
people that are watching, let them know where they can make donations for you guys.
Well, you can give it to your student at home because we've had collection jars in the home rooms.
Oh, good.
So if they want to make a cash donation, or they could make a check out to Town of Rockland, and we'll cash and then take it out of the student governments. Yeah,
Outstanding.
probably.
Great.
That's good. And they can actually donate afterwards, too.
Yes, they can.
Okay, so before and after, right. Good, good. Thank you.
Great. Anything else?
No, that's about it.
Great. Well, thanks again for being with us tonight. Lastly, on tonight's agenda, last but never least, public service announcements. Mr. Mills.
Okay. This it's been the beginning of the school year, and we're having a lot of fun, after 2 weeks, and and the weather is too hot, for being back to school. I'm ready to go out, at least hit the beach. But other than that, it just seems like it's we're getting into it again, and I think how and the students, Miss Jones, and the students are getting into it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Everyone's getting to the
Okay,
swing of it.
all right. And just hope everybody has a good school year.
Fantastic. Thank you. Mr. Phelps.
Couple things. Last meeting, I was remiss in mentioning janitorial staff and what great condition the buildings were in for the shape that they're in some cases. But to walk in, and I visited all the buildings before school started, and I can just say again to the taxpayers, your property is being very well taken care of. You'd be proud to walk into any of these buildings, realizing that some of them are kind of old and decrepit, but they're clean, and they're ready to teach our kids and make them good students. And secondly, just on the athletic front, huge win Saturday, East Bridgewater. I don't remember the last time Rockland beat East Bridgewater. And not only did they beat them, I mean, they beat them handily. Both soccer programs, girls and boys, are doing well. Volleyball's doing well. I even read at cross country, I think they've won a meet, at least one or two. So that get out on a Friday night and watch these kids play football during the week in the afternoons, and there were some night games for soccer, girls, boys. It's a great take, as I think Mr. Wilhelm says on Marshfield Radio. Best $5 you can spend. You can't get any more entertainment for it. So that's all I have. Thank
you, Mr. Phelps. Dr. Small.
I would just take a moment to remind everyone to be kind. There is so much sadness and so much hurt going on in our world. And so I would just take a moment to ask everyone to be kind. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your friends, your family, your neighbors, your strangers. Our children look to us to kind of learn how to navigate through the world, and the best things that we can teach them is by demonstrating kindness so that they learn kindness. And there's enough pain and suffering in this world that all the good we could bring is well needed. So that would be my message for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Small. As for me, I don't have much, but you stole a little bit of my thunder. I was going to say something a little bit similar to that tonight. It struck me as Saturday morning watching my first grader run around Destin Field with dozens, 100 maybe, other kids playing soccer, and later on at my other son's football game, looking around not only all the kids, but all the adults that were there, volunteering their time to be there to make sure that our kids, not only in our schools, but in their extracurricular activities, have the space and have the volunteer time, and the people being there, willing to be there with our kids. And it just struck me as how, despite all the tough stuff that's going on in our world and in our country, and how dismal things seem when you turn on the news, looking around this town and this school, our little corner of that map is pretty darn good. Despite how bad things are, it's pretty great to live here. The world isn't a perfect place, but our little corner of it, I like how our town pulls together and makes it work. And then other than that, I also was going to reflect a little bit on how great the schools look and how great the fields look, and just what a great start to school this has been. And other than that, that's all I've got for tonight. So the last thing that we would be looking to do to conclude our business would be look to get a motion to adjourn, and we have one.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful, great night.